Hello, welcome back to The Honest Wargamer. In a scheduling issue, it's not Vince and Nathan, which is the heartbreaking. It's Vince. I was going to say just Vince, but no one. It's never just you, sir. But Nathan will be on in the hour after. So, Vince Venturella, everyone, if we could get some round of applause, please, in the chat.
What's going on, everybody?
How are you? Are you well?
I'm good, man. I'm great. Fantastic. Beautiful Sunday here. There's only 4 hours difference between us right now, thanks to daylight savings time. That threw me yesterday, but I knew yesterday because I got up too early for the stream, so there we go. So that's all right.
Well, there's loads to unpack, actually. How you feel about the stream yesterday, what's going on. I don't know if you've been keeping track up till now, but I've been asking all the hosts different questions, basically, which I will get to towards the end. So I want to make some room for that. But we could go on for hours, which is lovely, about all manner of things.
Absolutely.
I think first off, what really jumped out from you yesterday?
First off, I love that they put all the AOS stuff together, and then just stopped with AOS stuff. Like it was all AOS up front, and then just all 40K, which was great. That meant I just didn't have to pay any attention to the second half of the stream and could just check right out and start preparing for my own stream. So that was really helpful. I appreciate that. If we could just pack all the AOS goodness right up front from now on, then I could just check out of the stream. That's wonderful. So I appreciate that.
No interest in 40K in any way. Tom on the show who was just on a moment ago said I need to ask you loads of specific questions about 40K, but just no interest to you at all.
No, I don't care that much to follow it. Like the squig pigs were good. I'm gonna buy squig pigs and use them for more Gorgruntas.
Mm-hmm.
I'll get a pack of those because those will probably be in 3s. But no, I looked up for a moment and went, oh, that's cute, and then went back to prepping up stuff for the show. The answer with 40K is no. It's a boring world. It's a boring world full of boring armies telling a boring story. So
go back to one of our earlier shows for that conversation. Maybe Christmas,
yes.
Was it, or not even Christmas? Who knows?
There you go.
For me, I still think it's exciting. And actually, one of the things that was exciting about it was the Sisters of Battle Predator tank. And the reason I say that, because I feel like that fits more. Yes, it's just something we've seen before in some ways, but it's a better, nicer, cleaner, more, version. I didn't like the repulsors. I didn't like any of that. And I was like, there you go. There's 40K. There it is. There's a miniature. I'm in it. That looks great.
Okay. So, I mean, I like Sisters of Battle enough. I've painted plenty of them. I appreciate... Okay. Let me see if I can break this down.
Go for it.
So, the literal point of your main force, your main faction, the Imperium, right? Theoretically, the protagonists were supposed to be associated with, right? Mm. The main underlying narrative of them is that they don't ever change at all and rely on only old superstitions and reusing broken down old things. Have I properly summarized the Imperium? Like, technological advancement is sort of heresy, right?
Was, though. That's now, they've retconned it. It was. There was
sure,
a
and yeah, with Rabute Gulamon with him back and stuff and everything. Yeah, I get it. And Belisarius. So I get we've cleared so this is the normal design space you would have if you were designing in a sci-fi world happening in the year 40,000. Okay? It could be anything. You do anything you want. Huge design space. This represents so much space. And normal 40K had this much space, okay? Mm-hmm. And then they went, all right, well, you know what? We really got to blow this world open because we can't keep making the exact same stuff. Okay, there we go. Yes.
I feel like
in the stream, they made a point of showing how the new tank is still built on the Rhino pattern, because that's what all of the tanks are built on. It's yep, that checks out.
Yeah. I mean, it's for the people who have them old mechanic books. I don't know if you remember them, where it would be your car in a book, and like that you would have the little. It's a very old thing. Don't worry about it. No one who's listening needs to care about that. But like still based on the Rhino chassis. Yeah.
At any rate, I will be excited if they do something really cool, like you talked about, where if they actually bring in a new race or reintroduce an old race or something like that, which seems fully possible. But I mean, you're like in your stream reaction show or whatever, you were like, yeah, I think in the next year or two, we might get a new race or bring back an old one. Like we could have squats or maybe they do Zotes or maybe they just have a whole new race come in. And I'm like, whoa, you might get one new army in 2 years. Maybe in AOS, we drop in 3 new armies a year we've never seen before. What are you talking about? That's like, true. Hey, they were just over here the whole time. There's this entirely new race in force. And even AOS, I think they don't push it as far as they should. Yeah, so
that's true. I'm with you. Although I still feel like there's a whole bunch of 40k catching up they need to do. They did I don't think they really got it, so they're still like reimagining a whole bunches. But we'll see. The Age of Sigmar stuff though, gotta be juicy stuff that you're excited about there.
Oh yeah, sure, very stoked. Glad we finally saw the best kept secret in Warhammer, which is the Soulblight Gravelords. I had no idea what they were before that stream. Total mystery. Glad they finally decided to share all that. They all look good. Liked all the models. Thought they looked great. Absolutely fantastic stuff. From top to bottom, new Blood Knights look great. Exactly what we wanted to see. Think there's still more to come with that, I'm sure. And I hope they do some stuff that's even cooler. But all very happy with that. Great book.
Yeah, really good, really good. Like it all looked really nice. The Blood Knights I didn't particularly vibe on, but like I said, I think it was the color scheme more than it was anything else.
It's always tough to put a purple red next to an orange red. That's kind of a rough color scheme, which is what they did there. So
that was exactly my exact thought, actually.
Yeah, I'm sure you were like, I'm on you're violating some color composition rules here. Yeah, I got it.
How dare you?
Yeah, but like on the whole, it's great. I hope that when we get the new book, they just boot. Like obviously, this is the replacement to Legions of Nagash, and so I hope they boot all of the Nighthaunt stuff out of this book and don't re-put any of that in there. That would be great. Let's actually just have an army here, not some weird conglomeration of 17 different armies that we kind of decided to shove into something. So that'd be good. Give Nighthaunt their own book, then you can point things appropriately. Price. Colonel Cabbage said price prediction for Blood Knights, $75. That's my prediction.
In English pounds, that's actually
in US dollars, 75 US dollars.
Yeah,
I have no idea what that translates to in English.
Roughly, it equates to 4 bowls of porridge and a crumpet. Technically, over here, I think is the exact science, but I'm not sure. Or some tea thrown in a river. I'm not exactly up on the numbers. I think the book looks great, personally. I think the book looks great. I like that there are zombies. I said this yesterday. That means chaff and elite all at the same time, which is nice. It means you can spread the army out a little bit more. Generally excited to see what it looks like, and probably an army I'm going to invest in myself, and be an army I like to play. It would be different to some of the other armies I've got, which would be nice. I've got an order force. I've got a destruction force. I've got a chaos force. I've got quite a few chaos forces, so it'd be nice to push myself into death a little bit. And so I think that'll be a really fun one. See how it plays. I'm looking forward to it. Kragnos though got to be kind of the big headline, right? That's the big story.
100%, and he's absolutely destruction. I would agree with you. He says when I woke up from the mountain, he's the god beast that was sleeping under Beastgrave. That's what he is. He woke up to find his people gone, because that's the story of Beastgrave. That's what it is. It was this place, and now it's all dead people. He woke up from the mountain. It's clearly happening in Gur. Gur is where all of the destruction forces are right now, being motivated by a mythical force they can't understand. Destruction doesn't have a god currently, and we all know that Destruction's probably going to be the AOS 3 launch box, because they did a Chaos one, and then they did a Death one, so this is obvious that they would do Stormcast and Destruction, because that's how GW likes to roll. And doing a big Destruction guy would obviously lead into the launch of AOS 3. It'd be the perfect alignment, right? It would kick off, it meets the Beastgrave story, it shows exactly what's going on, and ba-boom. There you go.
And it also means that we really hit 3 major factions in the first like cycle of Age of Sigmar 3, right? Destruction, Stormcast obviously are going to be the other faction in there, and then you get the Grave Lords. So you've hit 3 factions immediately, like in the first swath of releases, which is excellent. So then Chaos at some point get a book. I mean, or you'll have just come off Be'lakor as well. So like they've like in a very small window of time will have hit everything. Do you feel like, because I think this is true, do you feel like that the announcement, because I know one of the things you've been saying for a while is you thought that maybe they'd push Age of Sigmar 3 to like September, like October time. Do you kind of still feel that, or do you feel like the announcement of these books so early means that we're going to get a rush through to still a summer launch?
I think we're going to rush through to a summer launch. I really do. I had originally, I was thinking too much like what would be the common sense answer, and that would be the financial bottom line answer when I said September, right? Yeah. But like, shareholders going to sharehold, right? So like, ain't nobody got time for that. Like we gotta make that money, and putting out a big launch box in summer is just what they want to do to make a bunch of money, right? So.
It's business. It's like,
business. Yes,
business. Exactly. Like they could do what they want with like production and everything else. But I think the fact we've had the announcement, because I think it's wild that we're having the announcement of the third book before we've even got our hands on the second book. And so like I think that's interesting.
Yeah, we're 4 books in now, because obviously Kragnos is the 4th Broken Realms book, right? So we like, it's funny that we got the official pre-order date for the second book in the same stream where they announced the 4th book. Like this is unheard of GW right here.
It really is. Thank you very much to Ziggy, and also to Marcus Rock for donating. Ziggy to donating 37 quid to the show, and also Marcus Rock for donating money to the show to put that money up on the thing. The money we're raising money for is with the concept. I had a couple of meetings earlier on in the week. Sorry to derail you, Vince, here. But we had a meeting a couple of times this week about everything we're going to be doing for live coverage over the next year, pretty much. And we were talking about like cameras and where they're all going to go. And so I put up a little fund to try and get some camera money in there. So thank you everyone for raising some money. Specifically some better top downs are kind of a key focus. In some ways, I think that's one of the things that's quite exciting in the future, especially as the rumored board shrinkage means that you can get a kind of, we'll end up with our cameras being closer, which is nice. So if we can up the resolution of those cameras, actually we might get some pretty crystal clear images even from a top down, which it's arguable it's always quite tough to see from a top down. So being able to improve that for everyone is kind of what we're on it. Anyway, I hate talking about it, so I just kind of leave it surreptitiously at the bottom. But thanks, Ziggy.
No, it's fine. I don't know who the hero was that put you at 69 pounds and 69 cents, but
it's my man Ziggy. It's my man Ziggy. Statsman forever. Loads to unpack. I might go through the questions actually first, and then anything we got room for at the end we'll throw in there. So I've asked everyone these because I think it's quite interesting. So over the past year, 369 days, screw you, Donal. What's been your highlight? Have you had like a highlight? And it's intentionally vague, so whatever percolates to the top generally ends up being your highlight. Is what it is. So you can just take some time.
Oh, gosh. There should be an obvious answer of the past year. Like, this should be a slam dunk answer, Rob. My answer should be, Rob, let me tell you what, over the past year, this has been a great year for Vince, because I've wanted a Giants army for years, and they released a book for Giants. I hated the old Slaanesh book, and they gave me a new Slaanesh book. And Rob, I couldn't be more thrilled to get 2 books for 2 things that I really, really love. So excited about them, and I've gotten hours of just nothing but positive play and fun out of them. That cannot be my answer.
Unfortunately, it can't be your answer. And I know you've had other than just coming on this show, because unlike some of the other hosts that we've had on, obviously you do your own show, which has gone from strength to strength and has been super successful, as it should do. And then you've also been making a whole bunch of offline videos, which has been lovely. You've been featured on a Games Workshop article of all things, so that's lovely. So I know some of your highlights, but I do wonder what your highlight is for you.
Yeah, I will say, I mean, I've played, ironically, more Warhammer in the past year than I have in previous because we got a couple more people into our club, and so like we would actually still get together fairly regularly and play. So that was nice. And but yeah, I've just being able, honestly, my highlight over this, which has not been a great year, right, has been ironically just people, like getting together with more people, being more engaged, like the way this community's worked, you doing this stream streak, being able to hang out with everybody, even if online. It has been the highlight. Like there's been so much good stuff in the way they switched to doing the reaction shows and being able to react to that stuff, having all the guys over here for VinceyCon 2021, like we did recently when I had, Scott and John and Sam here, and we did that big reaction show together and stuff like that. That's the kind of stuff that you really like. When I think about that question, Rob, here's the way I always think about it. I think about this a lot, like almost every day this question occurs to me. When I'm dying, okay, assuming that I don't die instantly or something in my sleep or something, right? But at the end of my life, and I look back, what am I going to say I wished I did more? And I try to do those things as much as possible, okay? And what I'm going to wish I did more was spend more time hanging out with people I really enjoyed and doing things with other people that make you truly happy, whether that be Warhammer or, D&D or other things that I do or whatever, right? Spending time with my wife and just enjoying, doing things with her, right? Those are the kind of things. And this year's been pretty good for that in that regard, even though a lot of that's been digital. And so I look at that positively. Those are the things that honestly, at the end of my life, I would say, okay, that was a life pretty well lived. So there you go.
Good answer. Good answer. Well done, Twitch chat, and Vince for that. Nice. Okay, so this is going to be a hard one for you. Easier for some other people. Favorite thing you've painted?
Favorite thing I've painted over the last year. Sigvald the Magnificent, slam dunk, easy, done and dusted.
Because of the chaps.
Well, I mean, I have him. Mine is wearing pants, which was apparently the most controversial decision I've ever made in painting in my life. But yes, I mean, I really got a lot of stuff done this year because, I mean, being trapped inside, there was a lot of painting. I got my whole giant army painted, and I love how those conversions came out. Mm-hmm. I got the whole Tempest Eye Cities Force done, and that was all converted, from terrain bits and other random things and old kits and stuff. So that was very fun. But Sigvald, being able to paint him, put a lot of time into him, and then being able to share him out in the community article was really nice. That was very rewarding. So,
good shout. Was there anything like you learned from doing that model? Was that like I know everything I want to apply to this model, and I'm going to just smash it out, or was it like I'd like to experiment on this model?
Yeah, I don't know that there was really anything I tremendously experimented with him, to be honest. But it was probably more just execution. I mean, I'm always trying to refine exactly how things look and exactly what I want to play with. But no, I don't think he was a big experimentation piece. I think he was more or less just straight on.
Although, I mean, you and I both know they should have been chaps. Assless chaps. I'm sorry.
This is the fourth time I've painted Sigvald. Okay. And look, Sigvald was never wearing pants. We all know that, right? Mm-hmm. Like, even the old model, he didn't have pants on. It was just very hard to tell because you only saw a tiny little bit of his buttock and legs. But, like, Latham's original version of him did not wear pants, okay? Mm-hmm. And every version of him I painted, they all have pants on because my Sigvald doesn't want to chafe. He's got to. That's pretty straightforward.
That's fair. I feel like chafing is like the definition of Sinesh, but that's neither here nor there. Mm-hmm. All right, so obviously you do a show a lot, so this next question is going to be hard to pass. But what was your favorite interaction on the internet? Again, intentionally broad. Like, was it a funny tweet thread that became like insane? Was it a show? Was it someone who reached out to you? Someone you reached out to? I know you've done a lot online. So like that's a big question to answer. But yeah, your favorite interaction. It could be a few. Like there's no pressure for it to be one.
My favorite interaction online. Holy Moses. That's a big question. I spend a lot of time online, Rob.
I get it. I get it. I'll give you a moment. I'll give you a moment and say hello to everyone in the Twitch chat. You take a moment to think.
Okay, I'll take
yeah, like hello all. Thanks for tuning in for this long. It's been great. We've still got hours to go. We're here till 10 p.m. So what time is it now? Still another 5.5 hours left. So thanks for joining us. You're all great.
All right, here's what I'm going to do, Rob, because there's no human way I could remember all of this.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? But no, I'm gonna go for the recent one. It's going to be the Lords of the Realm reaction when I had, it was Tom, Scott, John, and Sam, and all of us together, and everybody was freaking out. And the moment where they all behind me did the bat swarms, like behind my chair, as though I was the Rock, and then all three of them became the bat swarms that were in there. That we then clipped into a like "Welcome to VinnyCon 2021" image. That made me smile endlessly because it was just the funniest thing. So there you go. Pretty recent, but that's the one I'm going to pick.
That works. That works for me. Thank you. And then the favorite thing released from GW over the past year. And I know loads of things that hit your mark, but is it going to be Sigvald as well?
Favorite thing released, so I can pick models as well, right? Yeah.
You can pick anything. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I mean, it's tough because I like a lot of the new Slanesh stuff. Like model wise, they're really tops. Although the Slickblade Seekers made me want to die.
The actual like putting them together.
Yeah. Correct. They were a nightmare incarnate, and I didn't enjoy them at all.
What's your least favorite kit you've ever built? That's an interesting question.
God, I mean these guys are up there. Let me say that. Okay.
Really? Wow.
It is a really annoying kit to put together.
Okay.
It's like if you just had it's the guys on top that are the problem. The Seekers themselves, like the new Exalted Seekers, they're fine. Beautiful, gorgeous design, no issue. These little dopes. These little idiots are the problem. Yeah, my favorite thing GW released this year. I've got to turn around and look at stuff just to see. I'm gonna say the big Mega Gargant guy, because even though I hacked and chopped and changed mine, they were really fun to work with. They were a really fun tableau to work with, and it was a big space. Cool kit. Yeah, exactly. Yes. Lots of room to play, to do little conversions. You got it. Exactly. So, yeah.
I'm learning. Vince likes negative space. I don't, because I'm a child and I want to paint by numbers. I want there to be a thing and we paint the thing. I don't want to design my own thing inside of the space.
We got to explore the negative space, Rob. You can do things like blends,
populate it with things I can paint. It's a lantern.
Tattoos.
I will paint this lantern. Perfect. That's all I need. Yeah? I'm not putting tattoos or nothing on there. Never once have I looked at a model, Vince, and gone, I might add a tattoo to this. Not one time. Anyway. The next question is, what do you think the most valuable thing you've learned from the year, like the lockdown? I know, again, that's a super broad question, and most of us always...
How much I love events. This is an easy answer. This is slam dunkathon right here, buddy. I'm in from the 3-point line. I'm dunking. Jordan got nothing on me with this one. It's events. It's obviously events. We all took them for granted. We all were like, I'll skip this one. There's going to be a ton more events. Who cares, right? I missed one. I got 4 more, 5 more this year. It's fine, right? Yeah, how much I miss events and seeing everybody and getting together, whether it be conventions or tournaments or whatever. That's why I'm broadly construing it as events, right? And that is where I live, right there. I want to see everybody. I want to hug everybody. I want to lick everybody's face. It's going to be great.
You're going to really regret that sentence as a random stranger walks up to you that you've never met but listened to you on this show and goes, lick my face, Vince. Lick my face.
Fine.
Right, so So what is over the lockdown? Load of opportunity to watch some TV shows and some films.
Sure.
Any stood out to you? What was your favorites?
Yeah, I mean, sure. I mean, I've watched a ton of crap. Most of it's probably pretty dispensable, right? Like you watch it and you're like, yeah, that was cool. I enjoyed that. That was fine. But the thing I'm gonna pick here. Do you mind if I go real deep here for a second?
Yeah. No, I'm super into it. This is the whole point. I really wanted to like get the show hosts on and explore them as people for the audience.
All right. So there is, like, I watched lots of good shows that I thought were really good shows and good movies and whatever. But I've been watching some Justified. It's a show here in America with Timothy Olyphant, and it's set in rural Kentucky, right? And not far from where Tom lives, by the way.
Do you mean Harlan County? That's where it's actually set, specifically.
That's where, well, it's partially that and partially Lexington, right? Because obviously the office is in Lexington.
Of course
yes.
it is. Yeah.
And the thing that's stuck in my head is there's a moment in that show that is just the baddest ass moment in the history of television. There's a moment in season, I want to say 3, where he confronts Wynn Duffy in Wynn Duffy's trailer. And he knocks him to the ground, and he pulls out his pistol, right? And he clears the chamber, and the bullet pops, right? Because he's clearing the chamber out. He catches it with his offhand, and then he drops it onto the guy's chest, and he looks at him and says, "The next one's coming faster," which is the coolest thing anyone has ever said in a television show, ever. The next one's coming faster is just the best threat in the history of television. And yes, so Timothy Olyphant is amazing.
Yeah, I'm so happy you said that. I was literally talking to Fish about that yesterday. Like, so good.
Yeah.
Like,
I'm not done with it yet. I'm still making my way through. I'm in season 5 right now. So there you go.
Yeah. I've got no spoilers. No, I would never spoil anything. No, it's just brilliant. A big shout out to Boyd Crowther as well, because he just played so well and can make sense.
Oh, Walton Goggins is. Like, that show's full of great people. Walton Goggins is amazing. And obviously Timothy Olyphant is a treasure. Yes, loved him since Deadwood. And, you know, even his cameo in The Good Place is to be loved. Santa Clarita Diet. The man has range. He's a joy. He's an American treasure. He might be Canadian. I don't know.
Agreed. And whenever you get onto him, you can't not go to Deadwood, and then you can't not bring up Al Swearingen, who is
Ian McShane.
Arguably the best anti-hero / bad guy of all time in TV. I would
fantastic.
Yeah.
I mean, that was a powerhouse, right? When you've got Olyphant, Ian McShane, and Powers Booth all together when he shows up, you've got like the 3 of them all rocking and rolling. Like that's great.
Really good. Such a great call. Thank you for that. That's made me super happy. All right, and then so yeah, that's that section. And then the other one is for content that you like. Now, I know you do a show about this every single week. Like I think that's something wonderful that you and Tom always do. Is yours like do your pick of the week, some content that you like from around the world. And I know that you're a big fan of lots of content creators. So it's going to be a hard one for you to pick. But is there anyone you think you want to put on blast? Anyone you think's done a really good job? Anything that you like? Anything that you like absorb or like take on board a lot? Because that's got to be hard, right? You're a smart, switched on fella. Like I've got nothing but respect for you. So like,
well, I appreciate that.
It's true. Like, but I find it hard sometimes to absorb other people's content because I kind of want to get into the conversation, not just listen.
Yeah, I mean, there's so much good content right now. Like I watch everybody's stuff, and the reality is there's been so many channels that have come up and have really been growing in the past year, especially in the hobby related space.
Mm-hmm.
But if I've got to pick, and there's a lot of good people making content. I love that Cult of Paint's gotten in the game. Henry and Andy are both you treasures. They're wonderful guys, and I love their what they've been doing on YouTube and their new like Culture of Paint, their little podcast / video cast, whatever we call this thing we do. That's real good. There's like John Enos Ninjon's channel. There's been a lot of good stuff going on YouTube, but and obviously your stream streak, like, buddy, I can't explain how much I love your stream streak being around and watching it every day. Like, really, it's great. It's great to have content every day. I really mean this.
Appreciate it. Thank you. Can I just thank, while you're thinking for a moment, can I just thank Percussive Scruff? Thank you so much for donating £69 and 69p to the fund. Comical number, an outrageous donation, and you're a lovely human being, and it's deeply appreciated. I want you to know. I'll put your name on a camera. You are lovely. Thank you. Thank you from... I don't know what to say. Makes me feel really awkward. Thank you very, very much. Super lovely. Do you know what? I think the stream streak for me has been just as... we've managed to have loads of... You talked earlier about like getting to contact people. I've been able to speak to you more over the past year, which I valued. Like our relationship's been able to get a lot better, which has been super nice. And that's true for a whole bunch of other people as well who've come on the show. And I think it's been really rewarding for me as much as it maybe has been rewarding for an audience, and also rewarding it as a whole. Like, I think that's one of the really nice elements about it. And it's brought in so many people as well. Like, later on, we're going to have Neil and Tom on the show. So being able to, like, even just talk with Neil about WTC and that 40k stuff, and just have those, like, long-form conversations has just been... They've been really fascinating, whatever the subject matter is. Like, and I found them quite fun.
Yeah.
One of the key parts... one of the key parts for me was being able to talk to the chat. Sometimes I just love doing a show. Like, I get excited in the morning. I'm like, today it's just me in the chat, and we just have a chat, like, which is just really, really healthy for me. Like, and it's been good for the lockdown, because I don't, like, no family, don't know dogs at the moment. So, like, that's just been a really rewarding element for me. I'm not sure they make particularly good content, just a ramble. But, like, it's something fun for me on the time. So, yeah. Anyway, Sorry, you were saying.
No, I'm going to split the award here for my thing I love the most. And that's I got to do it between, like, AOS proper content and hobby content, because those are two separate things I consume. Okay?
Yeah.
Hobby content, I got to give it up to Marco, not just Mika, I've never met the guy. I want to meet the guy. He lives over in Ireland. I'd love to have him on the show sometime to interview him. I think he's fantastic. I love the way he thinks about art. I love the way he paints. I think he's a really fantastic content creator and just a great guy in the hobby. And then on the AOS side, it's got to go over to Haywo, who, if there's any man who has my exact sense of humor distilled into video form, it is Haywo, who is just perfect at executing on incredibly sharp, funny content.
Really good, and also really well researched and really well put together, I think, is the important point.
He's doing the Lord's work.
Mm-hmm. Really good, really good. I like his, like, I like that he creates that content that I then don't have to make, if that makes sense. I know that sounds really dumb, but what Grim Slacker, thanks for donating 30 quid to the show as well. That's super nice of you to make it okay. I was like, what specific number? Why did he... It's 169.69. Okay, that makes loads of sense. I was like, what? Thank you very much. That's super lovely of you. And also, thank you very much to Red Chameleos for subscribing. Thanks, man. What was it saying? I like that he makes it so I don't have to in some ways. Sure. Like, people go over and I'm like, you've listened to it. And then they come back and they're like, okay, I'm back. I want to talk about this thing. And I'm like, yeah, okay, so Haywo gave you the nice version. Here's the real shit. Like not the real shit. That's not true at all.
I know, but like going deeper.
Yeah. Not deeper. I don't think, because I think he goes really deep. I think it's like really, really good stuff. Like really quality. I just think that he frames it in such a nice way so that it's palatable, which is still very well done. Like, you know, and then you jump over. And even on his shows, he's like, this is shit. And I'm cool, thank you, appreciate you. So he keeps it real.
I'll do this shout out. Hold on. Shout out to MJ Pegasus, who just donated 5 gift subs in the chat. Amazing. Mr. Pegasus, you are a hero. You are the hero we need and want. So way to be.
MJ. Thanks, MJ. You're great. And all stop now. We're done. We've got enough. This is lovely. Thank you. Let's just bring it down a peg. So freeform now. You've done you've done your 2 call outs. You've got 20 minutes. Your choice.
Oh,
Dealer's
well,
choice.
We could go hours, Rob, hours, but unfortunately my wife will probably kill me. But I could sit here until your 10 p.m. time and be perfectly content and feel that it was a day well spent.
Same.
But so let's talk about your terrain thing. Okay. Here we go. Terrain stuff. Watch Your Terrain show. You and I have spent a lot of time talking about this. I want to get my official opinions on the record. Enter them in. One, I agree with your basic types. You and I know we are aligned on this. I like the idea of garrisonable, obscuring, cover, and impassable. There we go. Thank you. I knew that's all good. I think you like impassable terrain way too much, but that's fine. I like it. I think it belongs on every table. I think it should, like, if you had, say, 9 terrain pieces, in my mind, 3 of them are impassable. That's probably the right number, maybe 2 to 3. And so that would be correct. I think cover, you underrate it, but there is a lot of rules in the game that want to care about it and want to make it matter and want to make units better for being in it or have units interact with it in some way. Shout out to Gebs0 for donating 5 gift subs in the chat. Amazing. You all are amazing.
Thank you, Gebs.
I want you to know that.
Thank you, Gebs, so much. Also, just for you guys to know, not that like it maybe means loads, but Gebs, you're a superstar, is the more gift subscriptions, we actually unlock more emotes. More emotes.
There is a hype train going. There you go.
That's a thing. That's a thing that happens. Still not sure what it means.
That means something.
It does mean something. The important part is the unlocking more emotes is super fun. Because we've got loads planned, and also the ability to move around in that space really quickly. Like when something funny pops up, like no data, we can make an emote on that super quick. And
Very nice.
Use that all over. So thank you, everyone. Please continue, Vince. Gebs.
No, you're fine. Like, I value cover a lot as a thing. I think that generally the right answer is to make it so it's very, big units don't generally stand on cover. I think when you have cover stuff, you should design it properly. I'm not really too worried about the 25 mil base against the 160 mil pie plate where he can't reach them. As you and I discussed, I've seen many movies. The end of Game of Thrones seemed to have a scene like that, with the dragon like going.
So some clarity on the terrain show the other day is me and Vince. We had a chat for an hour and a half, maybe nearly 2 hours before, where we talked about it, and the introduction of cover terrain was actually because of a conversation with you. Which was really important. So yeah, a lot of that is it's just trying to have that conversation is so important, I think.
Yeah. Where I do agree with you is we need to think carefully about the cover terrain we design. Like, certain pieces of terrain should be designed to be cover and should be more open and easy to work with, so people can feel like, hey, I can take advantage of these rules printed on my war scroll or written in my army book, because there's a lot of stuff in there that has to do with that. But at the same time, you want it to be the case that those rules are still useful, but it doesn't negatively interact with the game. Ziggy, what? Hit that hype train goal too. He did both.
He
10
did both.
Gift subs.
He's a very efficient person. Ziggy doesn't fuck about. He's like, I'll achieve 2 things at once. I'll donate 10 gift subscriptions and I'll hit a hype train thing. Thank you, Ziggy. You're a superstar. Angel. He's also brilliant at Blood Bowl. I'd like you to know.
Very nice.
Like, really, really, really good at Blood Bowl.
I was just discussing the virtues of Blood Bowl with somebody in the purposely imbalanced teams. I find that to be a fascinating bit of design. So
I think it's good. Yeah.
I agree. I think it's brilliant design, as a matter of fact. Transparently and purposefully unbalanced design is a fascinating space that I think most people are too afraid to go into, and I think they're very right for doing it. Anyways, I think Blood Bowl is a great game. And now you've got Percussive Scruff with 5 gift subs.
Are there even that many people watching who don't have subscriptions?
You got 168 people watching, brother.
What? Something that I stopped doing a long time ago. Progressive Scruff, thank you a lot. One of the things I stopped doing a while ago was I just stopped looking at the numbers because I would be bummed out some days when it was if it was 60 people or because that's not bad. 60 people, if you put them in a room, is insane. if they were just watching you. You'd be like, fuck yeah. But now I just keep my head down and don't look at the numbers at all. So thanks everyone for tuning in. Thanks to Progressive Scruff. You're all 11 out of 10. I'll do a dance. Sure, I'll do a dance, Vince, while you carry on your point.
You absolutely should.
Yeah.
I'll keep talking. I think obscuring terrain should also be able to be walked on and interacted with. I think you should be able to be in obscuring terrain, but again, you have to design that stuff correctly. I think anything, the real lesson to me is that you need to think carefully about the way you design your terrain, right? Like if it's meant to be something you can interact with, put your figs on, then it should be something you can interact with and put your figs on, right? Like this seems like the most obvious lesson, and it's something we don't often forget. It's usually how I design my terrain for my table, and I think that's why I don't have any problems. Okay? Like we never have terrain problems on my table because I've designed all the pieces to be playable. Does that make sense?
It makes loads of sense. I also need to thank Elko Reb donated 5,000 bits to the show, which is a lot of bits. That's a lot of bits. That's actually equally amount of bits as the salt I mine every day. I do that every morning. I pour out 5,000 bits of salt, and then I crack on with my day. Thank you so much. It's really lovely of you. So lovely of you. It's really hard balancing the conversation with everyone being nice, Vince, and I'm really sorry.
You do you. I can keep.
Well,
on
I know because I want to have the
point
conversation
that,
with you because it's
great.
lovely. And Lord Wales donated 100 bits, and Benny Big Time subscribed, and everyone's being super nice. It's imagine the conversation. Like imagine this is my problem. I'm having a really good conversation with my friend, and people are donating money. It's a really shitty problem to have, Vince. I'm struggling with it loads.
You're fine. It is beautiful. It shows just it shows how awesome the community is you built up here, Rob. It's really true. Everybody who's in here right now, everybody who's watching, this is an awesome gang of people. Absolutely the case.
I also like one of my favorite comedians is a comedian called Doug Stanhope.
I know Doug.
He always
Not
says,
personally, but yes, I know.
He always says he knows his audience is in town because it's they're in the bar that he would never go to because of the people stood outside of it. That's the Honest Wargamer audience right there. And
There you go.
Right, okay. So you're talking about we do need to design terrain so that it makes sense, right? Is the point. That's what I've been trying to get at as someone who is printing terrain and designing terrain for a venue. But similarly, thank you to all of you. You're great. What do you do about terrain that is not fit for purpose? Is my question.
Then that becomes the impassable stuff, right? Like if it's not fit for people to be on, then that's what makes sense to me as the impassable. Because you want some cool big buildings that just look neat, right? And stuff like that. So those are either impassable or garrisonable, right? That kind of stuff. Because then you don't need to interact in the traditional sense with the terrain. That's where those go, right? Like easy. That's why I agree with your basic 4. You've created the technology to handle this. Okay?
Yeah.
Like now it's just a matter of us applying it smartly. Like I can be on obscuring terrain. I can be on cover terrain. If the obscuring terrain is like some rocks and stuff like that, or a pool, imagine a big crater pool that's like that you've done up to be like kind of a smoking cauldron. Perfect explanation for obscuring terrain and also completely easy to interact with, right? Because it's like a 1/2-inch raised cauldron with a little dip in it that's basically flat. All your figs can sit right in there, almost like it's flat ground. Feels great. Totally groks. Easy peasy. Everyone's a winner, right?
Agreed.
That's the world we need to live in, where just the terrain match the appropriate terrain to the appropriate type and keyword, and then all your games will be a joy.
But you have to create the keywords is really what my goal was. Yeah?
And you and I are completely simpatico on that.
That's all I was trying to achieve. And then once we have a conversation about what those keywords are, the amount is fine. Thank you to Ziggy for donating 1,000 bits. Thank you to Ivory OP for donating 5 gift subscriptions. And to everyone in the chat for us achieving some Games Workshop level math of 193%. Also to Zaidi Guy for donating £3.69 and Time Went In for donating 100 bits. You're all mental. Thank you. And it's appreciated loads. We also got some cool emotes. I'm kind of into this emotes thing, Vince.
Absolutely, man.
I'm really into it. I don't know why.
500 point stomp us forever. I don't know what points mean in 40K, but I assume that's a good thing. So
I'm just really into emotes in a whole bunch of different ways. I think it's going to be a really fun little thing. Thanks to Budtastic Guy for donating 1,000 bits. Well, listen, it's really appreciated, but you're like overriding. It's okay, Vince. Carry on. You keep talking.
You're fine.
Whatever you want. I don't know what to do now. I was doing. Really
You're fine, man. Yeah. So I think that yes, this is the right framework to operate from, Rob. You've created a good framework, right? So and to me, that's how we then operate going forward. Like that's what I said, because when one of the things I originally talked to was about and was said was, is this something you just want to do for you, or is it something you want to have adopted, right? Mm-hmm. And I think making it a simple framework. That's why I like rules like if it sits, it fits, right? On things that you can interact with. Like that's just the simplest rule. Again, a rule we've always used on my table. Like that's just what we all agreed to do. And you know what? That stops like a million terrain problems right there. Because somebody's like, wait, can I put my mega boss up on the side of this building where he's like this much of his base is sitting on there? And I'm like, sure, if you can let the model go and it just sits there, then it can stay there. And the obvious answer is no. So no, you can't do it. And guess what? Ba-ding! Problem goes away. Nobody's trying to be like halfway up a building, nonsense, ridiculous stuff, right? So it's easy. And when I build big walls, I put doors in them so people on the ground can go through. I think what the equivalent would be in 40K is like breachable or something, right? Breachable. Isn't that what that is?
Yeah.
Where infantry can kind of move through it because it's assumed to have doors and holes and things they can pass through or be made of low material. They can move through it like James Bond in Casino Royale, where he's chasing that dude and who's doing a bunch of parkour, and he's just like smashing through the walls, going after him. Yeah, that.
Yeah, I think Breachable is also really interesting. Like I played a game on Friday with very heavy 9th edition 40K terrain, and it was fantastic. Like it was fantastic. Most of it was in Breachable. The point you were making about stuff being impassable, i.e. me, I think is a super fair point. I completely understand. I do think in the right situation there should be bits of impassable terrain between two objectives that are just directly linear each other.
100% agree.
And then you just do that, you create a fascinating game, and that's all I'm really trying to achieve. Because watching tournament games, like I'm looking at some tournaments, not a dig. Before I go any further, I looked at some images from an event held this weekend, I think in Australia, yesterday in fact. And so on some of the boards, I was looking, because I'm now obsessed with looking at an event and looking at the terrain, and then just seeing like what it looks like and how much it is. And some of the boards, the terrain might as well have not been there. It's like a rock and a house. Like there wasn't very much. And in some cases, like thank you by the way to Clafful for resubscribing, and also to Templar for subscribing for 40 months. Says we need some Warhammer Underworlds content coverage. Of course, he is wrong. That's really important to bring up. What I was going to say was, but then you have Holy Havoc. Am I right in talking about Holy Havoc? Yep. Where the terrain is bonkers, like truly bonkers, and that's wicked. And I think that I'm only obviously talking about tournament gaming, really importantly, because I feel like when you have something like, is it Steve who does the Holy Havoc stuff?
Yes.
So when Steve does like these incredible boards, or like you're playing on like a lake or whatever, it doesn't matter. Like you're just like, cool, we're not like, it's a fun game. Like, but when you're doing something on like a tournament thing, I think it's just really important to like develop these.
No, and the point is, even Steve in the event has a bunch of impassable terrain on his boards because he wants to create those lanes too, right? In his narrative event, right? And it's a narrative event, not a traditional tourney. Rob, there's a table he built. It's fantastic. I'll just give you the story real quick. There's a table he built. It's like this ruined Sigmarite city type of thing. Like it was this bastion of Sigmar temple. And it's literally like, to watch him put it together is incredible. It's raised diocese. Like picture like Venice, okay? With like the water under the, flowing up in the city. Yeah? Okay. Yep. Okay. So it's just a bunch of raised platforms and walkways, and then 3 central islands, and then everything else is just like 2-inch wide walkways over a big giant lake, like over water. The whole city's flooded.
Completely unplayable.
So it's fantastic. It's beautiful. Oh, by the way, if you get near you can't go in the water. You can fly over the water, obviously, but like you can't get near the edge of the thing because if you're standing on the edge, things come up out of the water and deal mortal wounds to you. Okay, and will like kill you and pull you down into the water.
Mm-hmm.
So hiding near the edge of the water is always very dangerous, like because once around that triggers. So you'll huddle toward the big islands where it's safe, and it creates like it is lanes on overdrive, right?
Mm.
And it's just like, now again, this is more serious than you'd want. Like you wouldn't want that in a tournament game. That's extreme. But my point is, for that sort of narrative event, it's really fun because it is those lanes on hyperdrive. Because like, oh, I need to get over here. Okay, I got to go like doop, 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 right? You got to like follow this path like you're playing a platformer almost, right? And yeah, it's great. It's a great board. It's a fantastic board to play on. Brutal. Part of what you're doing in Steve's events is you're playing the terrain. Like the terrain is a third player in the game playing you, again, trying to kill both of you. And that's great for that particular type of event because everybody knows that it's a narrative event. That's the idea of the thing, right?
I think you can do that in normal tournament gaming as well. I think we can make it. We can design some terrain with some keywords.
So the terrain has a presence.
So it has a presence. And also, the problem I have as a TO and a venue owner now in trying to create tables for people like Steve has done and like many other people have done is there is no guide. And so being in that setup, I'm like, what do I do? Like, right. So like, and being me, I'm like, cool, I'll make the guide. Like, that's what I want. And then unfortunately, I get really deeply weird into it. Like, it gets real deep. Like, and I'm like, what's the best way? Like, so this wasn't like over half a day. This took like months. And so like, I'm very excited about it. And I have been excited about this conversation. I want to thank Scott B, the talented jerk, for donating £30 to the show. Because he is very talented. I don't know if you've seen Scott B's painting, Vince. It's gorgeous, but frustratingly good. Too good, in fact. Like, it's not okay. Like, when you post stuff, you're like, cool. Like, I get it. You could do that, but stop showing off, is what I feel sometimes.
I don't understand what you're talking about.
And thank you also to JJ number 10, who's a treasure for one of my favourite games of Warhammer ever, for donating £5. Vince, it's been lovely having you on the show. I apologise about the Twitch chat derailing the conversation, but
no, I said that's not an apology at all. Twitch chat, you are amazing. You are heroes. You're all great. Love every one of you. Well done.
But I'm going to write a terrain thing up. Hopefully, we can work together on it if you'd be interested, because I would like to, and then we could.
100%. I would love to. I would love to. I would love to try to keep you in check.
Yeah. Don't you always try? Let's see if anyone can succeed. Yeah, that will lovely. And then I think we could do a really nice thing for the community where, like, if you're starting a local tournament or whatever, you can build up some terrain. Like I say, I could just talk to you for hundreds of hours. So thank you for being you. My personal shout out to you for just being you for the community. I know loads of people already adore you, but I am one of them, and I'd just like to thank you for being you. So lovely.
I appreciate that, and my final shout-out is a secondary answer to the question you asked earlier, which is to say my favorite internet interaction of the year. If I had to, the certainly honorable mention runner-up would have to be when I zinged you in the Realm Artifacts discussion with Tori Robb. I don't know that I've ever been more proud of any particular philosophical debate than when I led you down that path of arguing for elitism and walked you right into it. And I'm glad to see that has stuck around. It's one of my favorite things ever.
There's actually a Twitcher now whose title is Tory Rob. That's their Twitch name.
I love.
The emote is currently gone, but the emote is coming back. It's being redesigned. It was a quick design last time. It's been redesigned with the bevy of emotes, which, thanks to you guys, you've helped unlock even more today. So wonderful, people. Vince, thank you. I'll see you soon. We're going to go for a small break now. I'm going to play the, you're probably sick of it now, the clip show. And then I'll be back with a swath of people. Nathan, Scrivo, and let me get this right. And Joe Cryer. So that's going to be our next crew. Vince, thank you.
Well, tell them all I said hello, and I hope they're all doing very well. They're all great people.
I will do. Thanks very much. See you guys in a minute. Hello, welcome to the Honest Wargamer. I'm your host, Rob. It's the start of a very exciting series of videos. It's the streak. It's the best streak in the world. Hello to everyone who's joining us live, whether it be YouTube, Facebook, or Twitch. I'm in the studio on my own, but that doesn't mean I'm alone. I'm going to try and do this every day, 7 days a week, until confinement is over. If you want to watch more stupid stuff, keep tuning into the show. And it's time for the Hunker in the Bunker Day 8. Oh, easy. Not even difficult. Can't wait for day 80. Dude, our day is in day 2 of 84. Just realising that I might be doing a daily show for 84 days in a row is a bit... I've just seen the long future for me, and that's fun.
You got to give the people
what they want.
So
it's I'm on it.
It's a grey kind of flecky option today with a Nike trainer. Yeah, that's what I'm rocking today. I have got them pulled up as far as they go.
That's what I do. Why wouldn't you ever do that?
At what point do you just pull all the leather out, smack some war paint on, and start hunting for gasoline?
Well,
I reckon it's up to Nathan.
The line art, and then put up high quality versions of them so people can print them off for their little ones or for themselves, just colour in and keep themselves busy.
If you join the chat, you are one of the hashtag Grot Gang.
Well, I'll get to all that. I got to get through the housekeeping first. So Bud Kaler, a.k.a. Budtastic Guy's appearance on The Honest Wargamer is brought to you in part by the Budtastic Group of Companies, a subsidiary of the Rage of Sigmar media conglomerate.
Anyway.
It's all coming out now.
A whole bunch of people are like, and time to turn this one off today. This is only Stream Street Day 3. I can't wait to be like fucking Alex Jones in it, Stream Street Day 27. She's marinating a brisket.
Yeah, so she's slow cooking a brisket, and it smells so nice.
I didn't know that's what people called it for their birthdays, but if that's what you guys call it.
Now, this isn't DIY. Can you see?
You got to be a bit higher.
Oh, there he is. Oh, bless. Oh, actually, I can...
He's got a wheel! Darren, he's got a wheel!
I know, poor Malbec. But I keep getting woken up by really painful erections.
When I was a young boy.
I'm going to do a little Robert Austin. He's going to host a little show here. Top 3 bad Batman movies.
Well, number 1 would have to be...
Well, interestingly, the question was, how do you both feel about the Gargants? And the answer is massive erections.
Because I'm doing kind of unit by unit, rather than kind of getting distracted. Oh, that was...
Oh my God, John! What's cracking? It's been an interesting week. Hey?
Why? What happened?
The FAQ.
Oh, right. Yeah, of course. The FAQ.
That was cool.
I thought you meant the armed insurrection in the United States of America. My bad.
No, I'm not wearing a leather jacket that's got speckles on it.
Yeah, I mean, if they're more than 100 points, then that's too much, to be honest.
Okay. Well, there are 140 points.
That's too much, then, to be honest.
All of 2 people. It's a bit like the Legion of Asgore group, right?
Hey, we're a thriving community. If anyone wants to just click this clip right now, 100% Age of Sigmar 3, whenever that rolls around, 100% is going to be exactly the same. It's going to be that, that board specification. You, Pete Pratt, I see you're still in bed, and that's after organising a Age of Sigmar event yesterday, a socially distanced one in Northern Ireland. I see that Archie still didn't win anything. You don't know Archie Dayton, but you'd like him a lot. He is, he's a trier. Like Croak, who hasn't changed fucking points, which makes no sense. It makes no sense. What the fuck is that? And I love it because he's my favourite model. And if we can all do it, let's just fucking do it. Hey, you buy a Croak, I'll buy a Croak. We'll all just fucking use Croak, and it'll be the best year of our lives.
But you can't because he's sold out.
Innes Wilson, you won't be able to do it because they both look like a thumb. Greetings from the homeschooling world, Vengeance from Sylvania. I'm pretty sure my kid's reception teacher was sent by Sinesh to distract me from providing world-class homeschooling. Wow. Wow, loads to unpack there. Thank you so much. It's because we always do it live. You work to your skills, right? You can't prep, so you do live. Find a list of... Oh my God. No one tell Vince I said this. I would like to see a group of generic artifacts that people could choose from. Again, no one tell Vince I said that. Let me just check my calendar. Yes. I'm free.
Hold on. Yeah, me too.
Nick, you brought up a really interesting point before the start of the show, actually, which I thought we could talk about.
Yeah, I'm an interesting person.
It used to be a 65? Are you sure your base isn't a 65 mil base?
Oh, I've found a tape measure. Yes. Oh, I knew I had one.
A builder that had to find a tape measure.
Yeah, they always have to find one.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it is the 65. That's the one I came on. So I've got to change the space. Oh.
Who also made a like sex for seniors video. Really good watch.
Nerfed.
Fuck those guys.
Uh-huh.
Fucking cutting my base down now.
Do that, and I shall take the girls to the ball, but there's no balls and no girls, so don't clip that.
Oh, yeah, and Wahapedia, sorry, the one-man show, says he will have everything updated for 9th by next weekend at the latest. There you go, which is a searchable database. A searchable database of the information, which isn't a long list of shit.
Games Workshop said they'll have a quick reference guide in their app.
Let's talk
But when we're just having a chat, I end up getting a bit handsy if I don't do something. It's kind of weird. You're like, oh, is it going to be okay having someone you've never like really spoken to? But like Tristan was like upbeat, fun, enthusiastic, and Selena was like powerfully kind. Big thing for the mental health. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Reach new bounds. See how many times you can do it in one day. 15. Who knew?
You do get the Flinger missile. Now, it's a lot like a Mortek crawler in some ways.
You're only allowed to bring gits, and you've got to like narrative the shit out of it and just be like wild off your brain on cider or mushrooms all weekend or both.
And we'll all just have another croak. And maybe they'll just make more croaks. You don't even know. Just fucking loads of croaks. Everywhere.
Maybe he'll not be unique anymore.
Having a catchphrase which is stay hydrated, which makes you need to pee for like the last hour and a half of the show. So
okay, wait. So we need to drag this out so that Ross can't go.
There is actually another Cities of Sigmar.
I know. I don't give a fuck. If you want to know what it is, go read the book yourself, you lazy shits. Thank you for listening to the Honest Wargamer. Have a great day.